I did not like Fear and Hunger very much, and I don't know if I'll ever try to finish it. I have to admit this. I don't feel bad about it at all. I'm normally a big fan of hard video games. I really am. I like hard video games, and I did not like Fear and Hunger very much. I played it for probably about 2 hours. I think I'm past my return to get that $5 back or whatever it is. But I gotta say, while I appreciate the lore and I appreciate people's fandom of the game, it's basically unplayable for people that don't have a lot of passion for wasted time. Because you really do have to waste a lot of time to play Fear and Hunger. I haven't played Termina, and I'm not going to not play Termina. I'm actually much more excited to try that. It's just, you can tell that Fear and Hunger is an unfinished game, really. The sound design is fucking horrible. Now, if you think that the sound design is good because it speaks to you or it means something to you, I don't mind the music that much, but the actual sound design in Fear and Hunger is fucking horrible. It is literally some of the worst I've ever heard in a video game. I think they just sort of threw literally any sounds in without any mixing, mastering, matching. So you have scenes where there's like supposed to be water drops, but I can hear the literal noise gate that was appended to them, and I can tell that they've been hyper compressed because the noise drop goes like and it just doesn't sound very good. It's pretty basic steps and stuff. I know it's a limited project, and that's fine, but let me just tell you, I have certain thresholds that I need to be able to enjoy a game. One of them, because I'm a fucking audio fiend, is good audio. Sometimes it's out of people's budgets, it's out of people's abilities to do. But I've got to say, the audio in Fear and Hunger is fucking some of the worst I've heard in a little indie game in a while. And I've played some junkers. I think mostly it's bad, not just because like the sound selection isn't good, but mostly because the mastering is so off. And I think that there was quiet sounds that the team were trying to like bring up, and they just didn't know how to do it right. And so they're like brain meltingly bad when you hear them. My other major complaint is just the gameplay. I know it speaks to some of you. It's not good. It is just not good gameplay. Mostly because I know it's supposed to be a puzzle game and not a fighter. That's fine. And as a matter of fact, a lot of turn-based action games are that, and have been that traditionally. You know, you got to figure out how to do stuff. It's like kind of like having a timer. You know, you want to maintain your resources while trying to attack something and figure out how to put it down, kind of solving the puzzle of it. And really being a puzzle solving aspect of boss fights and fights in games in general is a major aspect of even like Metroidvanias and stuff as well. So it's very common. It's not like a rare thing at all. But the problem with Fear and Hunger is there's just way too much RNG. And the RNG aspect of it and the sort of one try and massive restarts and a big time sink that pushes you very far back seem more like they are either mistakes or intentional conceit, mistakes at best, intentional conceits at worst, to try to expand the gameplay a little bit more and get you more time out of a probably fairly simplistic overall experience. And I think like lore, whatever, you know, somebody says Fear and Hunger excels at lore, art style, and being a great streamer game. Maybe streamer game. I think it's still like, you know, you have to download fucking patches to get rid of all the cocks and asses. It's one thing, but I think as an experience for some people to watch other people play, it's probably good. I can't do the like pyro-cynical thing of like forcing myself to enjoy a bad game for content, because I just don't have that. I don't have that in me. I'm not built that way. So for me, and I think I want to put this out just to kind of as a counterpoint to the very many Fear and Hunger is like an unsung masterpiece, diamond in the rough type thing. I kind of want to add that on top of that, if you are not a person that's interested in a literally kind of unrewarding and broken game, that you will more than likely have to download some guides and some, like, please help me figure this shit the fuck out type. If you want to be the kind of person that, like, I have to kind of get involved in an entire community to figure out how to play this game. If that kind of stuff isn't, like, a deal breaker for you, go for it. You know what I mean? If you, like, want to spend a million fucking hours on this thing, kind of like getting good at it, true get good, but with no skill, just kind of like flow charting the game to death, also cool. Like, I completely respect you doing that. It's just really not for me. And if you're not the kind of person that wants something like that from a game, I'm going to tell you right now, don't waste your time playing it. Just watch the lore breakdowns and shit. They are infinitely more enjoyable than the game itself. I was very excited to play it finally, to sit down and play Fear and Hunger. I've watched a bunch. I watched Worm Girl specifically, as many thousands and hundreds of thousands of people have. I watched Worm Girl's video lore breakdown on it, and I think that's a much better way to experience Fear and Hunger than ever downloading it. With all due respect, if you want to kind of just have played it a little bit, I can also respect that. Like, you want to get your 15 minutes, your 2 hours into the game and just see what it is for you. I get it. But I will say, curb your expectations. It is very much an RPG Maker game, and it very much suffers from all of the issues kind of relative to that hyper indie scene. It very much feels like a half-finished itch.io game, you know what I mean, as far as the mechanics of it go. There's, and I have to really hammer this home, an insane amount of RNG. I know you can do stuff to kind of flub with it, but it's also not necessarily like kind of an obvious thing that you can, there's no like guide really to it, so you kind of just have to go and use the internet guide if you want a guide, or you have to be a psychopath and actually kind of like meta narrative it, I guess, and just trial and error. I don't know how you trial and error a game with so many kind of different branches of things that can happen. One of the big parts about it is you very frequently die and you get sent back very far. You can't save scum really in the game, and sometimes you can't save at all, so you end up replaying the same sections a lot, and you can get better at them, but there's a lot of collecting. The collecting is RNG based. The enemy attacks, as per usual in some games, are pretty fucking RNG based, and like literally if the RNG doesn't work for you one time, it can kill that subsection of your playthrough and send you all the way back, which for me is just too much. It's just not really what I was looking for from a game, and so I didn't like it. If that's something that would be a deal breaker for you, I would suggest passing on this one and just watching the lore dumps. Now, if you're like, I fucking want that, give it to me right in my veins, this is legitimately the thing that I want, then this is absolutely probably the game for you. Like, if you really want the experience of it being completely out of your hands, whether or not you hit something and it's just dice rolls and coin flips all the way to hell, then you'll probably love Fear and Hunger. But for me, it was kind of a PNF or a PWF. Probably won't finish it. And definitely I enjoyed the shit out of the lore dumps. I'm still kind of excited to play Termina. I think from what people were telling me, that is going to be the game that's the game you really should play. And I'm excited to check it out. All that said, I guess this is just a media review. I haven't done one in a little while. For Fear and Hunger 1, Funger, I would say story lore as discovered through YouTube videos, 9 out of 10. Very, very, very fucking interesting. A little bit cribbed. Can't ever be a 10. A little heavily cribbed from pre-existing properties. It is what it is. But yeah, story lore, like a 9 out of 10. Gameplay, I would say maybe a 3 out of 10. Maybe a 4. Probably if I was in a worse mood, a 2. Sound design, a 1. Some of the worst sound design I've ever heard. Music, I will separate from sound design. I would say probably about a 6 to an 8. Not too terrible. The music that I did here I liked, and I could see it being reused kind of in an indefinite cycle in video essays for years to come. Overall rating, I would say like a 5 out of 10 of a game, right? I understand that other people's experiences may vary, and I will say that this is Tyler's like overall quality of the game, probably a 3. Enjoyability, probably like a 3 for me. But the overall game as an existential part of the gaming canon, I would give it a 5 out of 10. And I think probably Termina will justify its sort of existence. And that's what I'll take. That's where I'll take it from there. So that's my sort of sub review of Fear and Hunger. Hunger 1 is extremely scuffed. Yeah. Would be better as a book/comic. Maybe 2, yeah. Will you play Hades 2, the buy game? Maybe alone. Until you are a masochist, you won't replay Fear and Hunger in half a year or a year for its completion. I wonder what Tyler thinks about Shipwrecked 64. I've never even heard of that. Fear and Loathing in a Chili's? What the fuck? Termina has less overtly NSFL content. Does it now? I've seen some of it, but yeah. Fear and Hunger 1 is a little bit ridiculous. You can kind of tell that maybe I would give it like about a 35 to 50% possibility that they had originally intended Fear and Hunger to be some sort of like Guro porn game and had backed off of it because there's a lot of like porny feelings about the game, and then they were like a bit into it and they went, you know what, maybe not. But also, if you don't like sex stuff, absolutely, if you have erotophobia, or you don't like not safe for life content, if the worst excesses of Berserk are like, you think that's too much, absolutely avoid Fear and Hunger. Even I think maybe to some degree with spoilers, because you kind of, even with the the mods to make it softer, it's not much softer. Hope you enjoyed your time on the